Hello, welcome to an Aether Revolt Kaladesh draft. This is Mike, and we're just going to go ahead and wait for enough players to join the queue. Alright, here we go. Alright, so Release the Gremlins almost always has targets, right? And if you can cast it for 5 mana, it's just super good. If you manage to cast it for 7, that's even better. Chandra's Revolution is a decent removal spell. Dawnfeather Eagle is really good in the right decks. Conviction is a good Revolt enabler. White Implement. Rogue Refiner is a very good card, but it's not something that you'd want to pick early, as opposed to something like Hidden Stockpile, which I'm more inclined to take early. Enraged Giant is also pretty good, but not as good as Release the Gremlins, I think. So I'm just going to take that. Speaking of Hidden Stockpile, still a bit early to take that. Pima Aether Seer is a lot better than it looks. Aether Poisoner is a decent 2-drop. Chandra's Revolution, again, is a very high quality removal spell, especially if you're on the play. Sweatworks Brawler is a must-have for the improvised deck. Aeronaut Admiral is pretty broken with certain vehicles. The pick here is kind of difficult, but I think it's between Chandra's Revolution and Sweatworks Brawler. And Sweatworks Brawler is only really good in the improvised deck. Playing it on turn 4 as a Hill Giant with Menace isn't the greatest. So I think the pick here is Chandra's Revolution. We'll see how that goes. Here's a Peace Walker Colossus. I am not particularly interested in that yet. Aether Chaser is just an overall, all-around decent 2-drop. Narnum Renegade is good in the red-green decks, and also okay in the black-green decks. Implement of Combustion is really good for improvise. Countless Gears Renegade is a nice sort of filler 2-drop that you can have. I think the pick here is Aether Chaser, and we're going to strongly hope to get into an improvised deck, which is probably the best red archetype when you get the cards for it. There's Ornithopter. That's a bit of a trap. Aether Swooper, very good. Bastion Inventor, signal, and Sweatworks Brawler signals that Improvise is probably open. Welder Automaton is also very good in the improvised deck. I think, however, it's time to take an Aether Swooper, because if I take these improvised cards right now, I don't really have like any ways to, well, besides the Aether Chaser, any ways to significantly reduce their cost. So first I need to focus on enablers and hope that these will wheel, which they likely will. If you're not improvised, you don't really want them. And Aether Swooper is just pretty good regardless. Barricade Breaker is a nice payoff card. Sweatworks Brawler, I'm not sure which one of these is better. Implement of Examination is a little bit on the expensive side. Implement of Combustion is pretty much the best implement for an improvised deck. Improvise is looking very open right now. I think I still want to take enablers. Implements tend to go pretty quickly. And there's a second implement as well as a barricade breaker. I think I'm still going to take the implement, maybe. Frontline Rebel is not something we want to pick up yet. I mean, it's an aggressive 3-drop, like that very good stats to cost ratio. Maybe now is correct. It's correct to take Barricade Breaker. Like, we've passed, what, 7 improvised cards? Not counting the stupid 5-mana 3/3s. Yeah, I think we need to take this Barricade Breaker. There's nothing here really that I want to play. Ravenous Intruder is not quite where we want to be right now. Negate is a potential sideboard card that we could use. Universal Solvent, also a potential sideboard card, especially with the improvised decks that tend to be low on unconditional removal. Yeah, I'll just take Negate. Ooh, Servo Schematic. Now that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yeah, that's just such an amazing pick right here. It's, if we weren't in Improvise, then Cogwork Assembler would probably be the pick. But considering we want as many artifacts in play as possible to significantly reduce the cost of Barricade Breaker, Servo Schematic is the easy pick here. None of these are super impressive. Maybe Salvage Scuttler. I haven't played with it yet. I think it might be fine. Ooh, Hidden Stockpile Wield. That's impressive. Dispersal Technician I've been impressed with. You know, it's only a 3/2, but getting that tempo to bounce an opponent's artifact is pretty good. So none of our improvised cards are wheeling. Well, let's take Filigree Crawler, I guess. Welder Automaton Wield. That's pretty good. I mean, I guess. So the reason I took the land there is because this is a league, so sending a black card over could potentially influence the person to the left of us to subconsciously think that that black is an open color, and if they go into black, then we get the better red and blue cards potentially. So here is a Snap Windkin Raiders pick. I know there's a Servo Schematic in here, but given that the last Servo Schematic went very late, it's possible that this one might wheel. Unless, of course, somebody has already gone in on Improvise, which is very possible. But yeah, this is a lucky open. I'm cool with that. I really like the aesthetic of Kaladesh a lot. It's nice. Here we have Sweatworks Brawler, which is up there in terms of picks. Invigorated Rampage is not at its best in blue-red. It's best in red-green, I think, and it is a very good trick. Right, like, especially with Reckless Racer, for example. Reckless Racer is also a consideration. We don't have any 3-drops yet. 3 is kind of important on the curve. I think we're going to take Sweatworks Brawler to kind of cut the improvise off from people. There was definitely somebody taking improvise cards, so and Sweatworks Brawler is potentially a decent filler card outside of a dedicated improvise deck too. So that's possibly why we didn't really see Sweatworks Brawler wheeling. Ooh, Trophy Mage is not very good right now since we don't have any 3-drop artifacts. However, there's not really anything good in here for us. So I think we might as well take that and hope to pick up some 3-drop artifacts. You know, like the Scry Grey Ogre artifact. That's a good one. There's another Salvage Scuttler. I don't even know if that card is playable or not. Activated an ability of an artifact. We have 1, 2. Ooh, that's a decent combo. So we have exactly 1 activated ability in our deck. So Crackdown Construct is not for us at the moment. Laugh New Sailback isn't particularly good either. I think we're going to take Universal Solvent, and maybe it ends up getting played if we don't have a high enough density of low-cost artifacts. Here's a Reckless Racer. I think that's the pick here. We can't really pick anything else. I mean, we can take off-color implements if we have a sacrifice outlet for them. Right now we don't. This is not a Peace Walker Colossus deck, unfortunately. I think that's something we potentially could have gone into. It's also worth considering Tezzereth's Touch, because if we can manage to splash for it, this thing just wins games, right? Like, play my turn 2 Servo Schematic and turn 3 suit it up with a Tezzereth's Touch and start bashing for 5, right? And when it dies, I get a Servo, and then it comes back to my hand and I get another Servo. But right now we don't have any way to splash for it, so I don't think I'm that interested in it. Metallic Rebuke isn't very good in limited. Even though it says improvised, it doesn't necessarily go in the improvised deck. I think Skyship Plunder is probably more suited to our deck at the moment. Right, because we're aggressive. We want to play our 2-drops. We want to start bashing. We want to play big evasive threats early. Does this ability combo with anything? Not really. I guess we could have like some energy. There's another Welder Automaton, which is interesting and definitely a potential pickup. There's also a Mobile Garrison, which combos with Reckless Racer and Trophy Mage. It's an artifact, I guess 3 mana rock for Windkin Raiders, and Barricade Breaker is fine. Nightmark Guard is also a potential card for Trophy Mage. I think I would rather take Mobile Garrison here, though. There's another hidden stockpile. Wow. Some black-white player is going to be very happy. We, however, get a Whir of Invention. You know, tap that for 10 mana or whatever, get a Barricade Breaker, right? That's something that can happen. Okay, Implement of Examination is decent pickup with Trophy Mage. Yeah, basically there's nothing better in here, so we're just going to take that. I'm not a fan of Ice Over. And Potential Negate. Well, this came around, so did this. How many activated abilities do we have now? Still just one? 2. Sure, let's take that. Whatever. We're not playing it, though. We're not playing this either. This is fine. Excuse me. Oh, woohoo, a Cataclysmic Gear. Let's see how much that's worth. I think it's like worth half a ticket or something. But just in case, you know. Yeah, it's not worth any significant amount of money. So we're going to take a Renegade Freighter, I think. Right, we have 1, 2, 3, technically 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So all of our creatures can actually crew it technically. It also just wins games if you play it on like turn 3 and then start bashing. Most people, and we also have like Leave in the Dust. It's a good open. It fits in any deck. Malphite Storebuster is also interesting. But there's also Gear Seeker Serpent here, which is sort of improvised but better because it's actually Affinity. I think we're going to take that, right? Like we can play what? Turn 1 Implement, turn 2 we have Servo Schematic, then turn 3 that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can play a turn 4 Gear Seeker Serpent pretty easy, and it's almost always going to cost 5 mana. Yeah, that's pretty good. Malphite Storebuster is pretty broken Magic card too, but we're more interested in the synergy. Built to Smash sounds good. Yeah, Built to Smash. Let's do it. Aether Meltdown is a potential possibility. Prophetic Prism is fine. Runus Gremlin is a decent sideboard card. Inventor's Goggles is a lot better than it was in Triple Kaladesh. This guy is an Artificer. This guy is an Artificer. That guy's an Artificer. That guy's an Artificer. Artificer. Yeah, so we have a few Artificers, and if you have enough Artificers, that's when when this becomes good. But it's also an artifact for Improvise, which is why we're going to take it. Ooh, Panharmonicon. That sounds fun. I wonder if it's good. Comes with this. Comes with this. Comes with this. That's actually really good with this. How many creatures do we have that can crew Bomet Bazaar Barge? That one. Can technically crew 2 if we have mobile garrison. Maybe we should take self-assembler. That could be good. Yeah, we're taking self-assembler. Just in case the second one comes around. Weldfast Wingsmith is decent. It's better for us than anything else, I guess. We'll take that. A second inventor's goggles. Why not? After all, if one is good, two is great, right? Right? That's how that works. We have to start thinking about cuts. I think Salvage Scuttler is definitely not the best card we can play. Ooh, a second Gear Seeker Serpent. There, we just did it. We just did it. I don't even know if Word of Invention is particularly playable in this deck. I mean, there's not really an artifact that we super want. We don't have like a... I mean, I guess searching for Renegade Freighter is actually pretty good. I think Aether Tradewinds is the pick here. Yeah, so this is a pretty aggro tempo deck right now. Wayward Giant is fine. We definitely want to release the Gremlins. Let's see. Nothing here is good. Let's take that. So these are kind of our payoff cards right now. So we want to leave these in, right? Other than that, I like our 2-drops. We can probably cut a Goggles. I was kidding about it being good in multiples, right? One's enough. Filigree Collar is probably cuttable. It crews Renegade Freighter and Mobile Garrison. We're kind of low on creatures. Let's cut some non-creature spells. Like... Built to Smash, probably. We're not quite aggressive enough to play Built to Smash, I don't think. Maybe against certain matchups we'll bring it in, but just like on the, say on the draw against a random opponent, we don't really want it. This is probably a 17 land deck. I mean, thanks to Improvise, most of our spells are cheap, but we definitely have the mana sinks. Mostly release the Gremlins. Oh my, that is huge. Okay, so maybe we don't end up playing War of Invention. I don't know. It's a good card, right? Like, we can search for Mobile Garrison and then suddenly crew it, and all of a sudden they have really bad attacks. The Implement is fine. And Aether Tradewinds is kind of weak. Maybe we take that out and... How did we end up with 3 Gear Seeker Serpents? I don't know. That's a mystery. So let's pretend these are 4.5 drops. So if we took out War of Invention and Aether Trade Winds, this is a 3-drop. That's a 4-drop. This is not in our deck. There we go. Oh, that's what happened. Now we have 22 cards. So we can play the War of Invention. That's fine. Because War of Invention is technically a creature. Servo Schematic is technically a creature. Vehicles are like half a creature. I like this. This cycles, so it doesn't count as either. And this is a 17-line deck. I don't think I want that kind of disparity. Maybe 9-8. What the heck? Now I have 41 cards? What's going on here? Magic Online is a quality program. 17, 19, 24, 29, 34, 35, 36, 41. 40. Deck is too small. I'm not noticing anything weird. So obviously our deck is not too small. 17, 19, 29, 34, 35, 36, 40. Alright, well, I guess I'll figure this out later. This looks like 40 to me. Yeah, I don't know. I'll see you guys.